What's up everybody, it's your boy Duty back again with another video. This time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's late night stream of Oblivion or Begvillion. Our boy is struggling this week. Apparently he had a couple slow days and went off on his normal tangent when he feels like he doesn't have enough money for tips, or doesn't feel like he's getting enough tips or super chats or whatever the case is, and doesn't have the funds for his day off, and of course WWE champion. So yesterday, last night's stream was pretty slow. I think he made about $60 for Oblivion, which of course upset our boy DSP. And near the end, he decided that maybe he owed his dents an apology, or from what I gather, what he's stating is that people reached out to him, basically said, "Hey, stop begging. You're begging again. You're being your old Phil," which to me is everyday Phil. He hasn't changed. He tries to mask it, with the sneak begs and so on, but he's still the same way. And like I stated in my video a couple days ago, the mask came off and it was essentially scoring all over again. So let's see what our boy Phil has to say.
All right, guys, I just want to say thank you for a great, definitely a great week, great streaming week. I want to apologize if I came off in the last few days as a little bit pushy when it came to contributions. A few people have said that. Here's the deal.
A little pushy. You went full on beg, Phil. You went full on beg, and you started. I mean, every other sentence out of your mouth was, "Guys, support is slow. I'm not gonna. I'm just being honest. Support's just not there. Please tip me." It was over and over again. I think I remember I did my premiere video, Phil, where I posted that one day when you were playing Signalis, where essentially it was 20 minutes. You essentially spent, I calculated, I looked at the time you streamed, right, for that day for your gameplay. You essentially spent nearly 20% of that time talking about tips, support, and asking people to donate.
Me being transparent with all of you. So the holiday season was great because not only was there nonstop new releases, so therefore there was way more support, but also, if you remember, what was it, September, October? I can't remember exactly the month. If you remember 1 month, I got a crazy big increase in members, correct? You remember, we skyrocketed above 1,000 members here on DSP Gaming. You remember that, right? And basically what that did is they put me into a good position financially for a couple of months there, where I was kind of ahead of everything, because I had extra income. I was like, oh, I can actually use this, to buffer that. Remember I said, oh, I was able to get myself a new controller for Black Friday. I was able to buy a replacement monitor because my monitor had died. My TV died, and I was able to pay these payments each month to pay it off. You know what I'm saying? So things were good for a little bit, all right?
All right, I want to touch on this because this is what annoys me the most. So essentially 1 month, he ended up getting extra income in his YouTube check because of that thousand members that he had due to Team Michael Gamer, or who I like to call OIC, dropping those memberships and dropping sub bots and so on for them to collect them, right? He knew all this. And yet he went ahead and with that money, instead of saving some of that money, right, and saying, okay, I'm ahead, I'm going to save it for, maybe the next month where I'm a little slow, I'll have some extra money and I'll be good to go. No, what he decided to do was buy a controller, buy a second monitor, because he has 2 monitors. The primary one was perfectly fine. The second one that he used to use when he used to edit videos, which he no longer does, broke, and he decided to buy another one, which he did not need. Then he decided to buy his wife an Xbox Series S to play Game Pass games. For what? She has a gaming rig. You could have got her Microsoft Game Pass PC Ultra for PC. You could have just done that, and that was $10 a month, Phil? No, you had to spend the money because that's who you are. You just, and then going back with the TV, you had apparently $500 to spend on the TV, right? Someone came in and dropped another $400, right? Which, if you would have been smart, you would have just simply paid $500 for the TV. You would have been out $100, but that $400 tip that you got would have paid for it. No, what you decided to do was like, well, I'm going to get a better TV, and you end up spending $1,000 on a TV that, one, you don't need. You didn't need to spend $1,000 on a TV, and you're not even using the function. You got all these extra functions on the TV. You don't even use any of them. So what was the point? But that's who you are. You get a little extra money. You think, oh my God, I have to spend it right away. That's essentially who you are. And I know you've been talking lately about refinancing your house. Oh my God, that's bankruptcy getting too. Because as soon as he If I doubt it, if he does, it's going to be 7 years from now. Whenever he gets a refinance, he's just going to get in debt again. He's just going to buy stuff. He's going to get, whatever. He's just going to get in debt right again with a bigger mortgage payment. That's essentially what he's going to be doing. Anyway, let's get back to this rant.
But basically what's happened, two things, just to be, again, I like being transparent with you guys. There's no reason for me to not do this, because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Number one, if you haven't noticed, yeah, we don't still have 1,000 members. It went back down to the normal levels. So that increase to income kind of went away, and then on top of that.
But you knew this, Phil. You knew that was going to go away. You know that you weren't going to stay at 1,000 members. So in your delusional mind, you thought every month someone was going to gift me 500-600 members because no one's buying them. We know that. I mean, when you had, for this month, when you got the 50 or 70 or so from Emil, it got you over that, close to that 600 hump. And then once his previous member bond from last month expired, you went all the way down to 450. And mind you, that's only because you got another 70 members. You're really at around 380. And you've been at 380 for over a year, Phil. You've been at 380 for over a year. So you essentially have no membership growth in over a year, Phil.
This week in particular, if you didn't notice, things slowed down to a crawl. With playthroughs like Signalis and One Piece Odyssey, there were streams going on where I was barely making anything. And it's one thing if it happens once. It's one thing if it happens one day. But this was like multiple days in a row. And sadly, I hate to say it put the pressure on me again. It made me feel nervous. And I kind of fell back a little bit into my old habits. And I want to apologize to you guys for that. All right? I want you to understand that I don't like being like that. I don't like being like, oh.
Phil, these aren't your old habits. These are your habits. You've done this all month. And I know you claimed you've turned a new leaf and you're no longer going to beg. And you're no longer going to be, all about money. So you claim, but you still do it. Your daily wrap is essentially, the only reason why I review your daily wrap, because essentially it's a tip audit that you do on your dents. And that's all it is. And all you do is talk about money and support. And you talk about how you hope the next day will be better and so on. So it hasn't changed, Phil. The only thing you change is that when you're doing gameplay recordings, you try to limit how much you beg, because you worry that when you publish those videos, someone's gonna Moist Critical, or someone's gonna catch it and make fun of you again and call you out for the beggar you are. But the problem is you don't realize that there are 1,000 clip channels that clip you and clip these unrecorded segments and publish them and put them out to people like Moist Critical and so on. So you're not hiding anything, Phil.
Please support. Please, I had slow days. Please support. I hate that shit. I hate being like that. But it really made me very nervous. And quite frankly, I'm hoping that in the next couple of weeks with new releases such as Dead Space is coming Friday. We got some new releases coming out like, we got SpongeBob at the end of the month. We've got Hogwarts Legacy. We've got the Super Bowl event coming up. I'm hoping that those things will invigorate you guys again to be excited for the content. Because when people are more excited, they show up more, they engage more, and yes, they support more. And that means that puts pressure off of me, you see? I wish that I was a ginormous content creator that made ridiculous amounts of money because I had so many viewers. As you know, that's not the case. I'm a very small-time guy, and I'm so grateful for what I get. And then when things slow down and things start getting behind again, I get nervous. And it makes me feel weak, and it makes me feel, like I'm not going to be able to make ends meet and provide, and it sucks.
I don't know how many times I have to give you this piece of advice, Phil, but you've even realized it yesterday with your, you unwittingly said it and unrealized it. So you're talking about how your shorts have been getting more views than your playthroughs. You said that specifically. And the reason is because it's smaller bits of it, smaller sizes of video, less, smaller, it's a smaller window of a video. It's edited, right? And people can digest it. It's very digestible. Even though it's crappy, but it's still digestible. And that's why people go and see those, Phil. Your videos that are 1 hour long of playthroughs and you get, 6 a day, 5 a day, whatever it is, how many videos you put out there, they're over an hour long. No one's going to sit there and spend 1 hour watching your crappy gameplays. And that's the reason why no one goes and watch your views. Now, if you were a smart man, what you would do is you would take those videos and condense them. Do a 10 to 15 minute video of your highlights of the gameplay. And publish that. And people would go see that. people that you always wonder why detractors are more popular than you and people. It's because, and you always wonder why like Moist Critical or a big YouTuber will go see a detractor channel versus your channel. It's because they don't have an hour to watch your video. They can spare 7 minutes, they can spare 10 minutes on a clip, but they're not going to spend an hour on your stupid video. Now, if you were curate, you like to say, you curate your content for a specific group of people. Okay, if you want to do that, that's fine. You're going to stick with the views that you have. But if you actually want to expand and make more money, you're going to have to edit your videos. And that's something you've refused to do.
Terrible feeling, especially because this month I have, big tax payment coming up. I just did, and it was all this stuff. I was like, damn. So basically, to put things into perspective, I don't like being like I am sometimes. It actually, it annoys me. And then it happens, and I'm like, damn, why did I say that? Why did I do that? And I feel like shit. I feel like this week I let you guys down. I really do. Because, when people are coming out and saying, Phil, you're doing it again. That I'm like, shit, again? Like, fuck. I don't want to be like that. It really pisses me off now when I look back at some of the streams I did this week and I hear myself. I'm like, yeah, I did it again. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. That's why, but that's not an excuse. That's not good for me to be like that on my streams. I want to be positive and all about the games and all about the interaction. Because if you take a look, did people like Signalis this week? Absolutely not. Most people did not. A few people did. Actually, a good amount of people came out today for the finale and supported it. And I am very appreciative of that. People didn't like Signalis. That's going to happen. Not every game that I play is going to hit it out of the park, right? But when it adds up to the point where it's several days where it's kind of like that, and now it's looking like, oh God, I'm not making anything for a bunch of days here. It made me nervous, and it sucks. I'm hoping, like I said, this week coming up, I'm hoping that things are going to turn around a little bit because there's new games and everything. Dead Space is the game everyone's been waiting for months, so I'm excited to play it for you guys. And hopefully it's a great playthrough, and, I hope. We'll see what happens. And again, I wholeheartedly apologize. Here's the other thing, too. It's not like this was a bad week. We had a ton of memberships this week, right? Tons. And on top of that, Super Chats actually are up this week. They are, like, way up compared to previous weeks. The catch-22 here is that support I don't get for a while. It's the tips, and when the tips slow down, like, oh, God. So now, I gotta, I just got paid by YouTube. Again, I'm gonna be transparent with you guys. I just got paid by YouTube yesterday, and immediately I had to pay all my big bills. So I went boom, 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 paid them all. And then I'm looking at the other bills that are clearing the end of the month, and then there's another slew of bills that the end of the first week of the month. And I'm like, that's my whole YouTube payment. That's it. It's gone. It's done. It's completely erased, as if I never got it. It's all accounted for in bills coming up. So it's funny when people say that, oh, don't worry, you're getting paid by YouTube. It's like, yeah, but that money is already accounted for. That's the problem. It's not like, oh, it's my big payday and I roll in dough for 3 weeks. It's, I get paid immediately, goes out to this, goes out to this, goes out to this. Really, the money that I have to spend on anything is what I make in tips on my streams, So that's why when I have several slow days, it worries me. And I feel like I gave in to that nervousness and my weakness this week, and I said and did things stupidly that I shouldn't have done. And I really apologize for that, okay? I'll do my best this coming week to not do it again.
Okay, you heard what he just said. All of his bills get paid by his YouTube check. He said this over and over again, and of course he contradicts himself over and over again, but he said that. So essentially, his tips are what pays for everything else. So his food, his groceries, and all that stuff. So we can easily calculate and figure out how much money that is, and we know how much Phil gets. And every month, if you look at it, there's always a surplus from the tips. So what is he doing with that surplus where he's sitting there and begging and saying, I don't have enough money to do stuff? I have a theory. It's the WWE champion theory that he spends his money on these mobile games and he overspends. So he may have, say, $1,500 extra a month to do whatever that he should be saving for a rainy day, but he doesn't do it because he spends it on WWE champions, mobile games, gin, all that, DoorDash, and all that stuff. So, Phil, your failure to plan as a person and as a man that has a household, those are your problems, Phil. And when you go off and rant and beg like you did, people are going to call you out on it. And I am going to call you out on it. Now, I know you're sitting here trying to ask for forgiveness because your dents got tired of hearing it this week. And I'm glad some people are actually calling you on it. You probably banned them, because that's just the type of person you are. But I'm glad that, you were able to have some self reflection and actually apologize. But I'm pretty sure you're going to do it again. And I always said it, anytime there's going to be a streak of days where he's not hitting his typicals, he's going to go off just like he did during the Signalis playthrough and the other playthroughs after that. So and I think he was triggered tonight or yesterday with his Oblivion playthrough when he got $60. And I guess, you know, he was ready to shout and scream about low tips and then decided, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should faux apologize, which he did. Anyway, hope you guys liked the video. Peace out.